Hi, Paul Nashwati coming to you live from the show floor at KubeCon EU 2026. I'm here with Liam Randall from Cosmonic, the creators of wasmCloud.
That's right. Thanks for having us on, Paul. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So what are you doing at the show?
We've got a lot of new releases this year. WebAssembly turned 10 this last year, believe it or not, and it's quietly become the ubiquitous technology that you use all the time, whether you realize it or not. Everything from Cloudflare, apps from Adobe, your banking apps. We've seen WebAssembly adopted throughout the landscape. And in the CNCF wasmCloud community, where we focus on server-side WebAssembly, we're pleased to announce the launch of CNCF wasmCloud 2.0 that is completely Kubernetes-Native. And that means support not only for all of your build and shift left activities, but for namespaces through an operator, through ingress, egress, through XDS, and observability with OTel out of the box.
So let's take a step back. For the audience that may not know, what is wasm and why is wasm important, and what is wasmCloud and what is Cosmonic?
Sure.
Yeah.
wasmCloud is part of a dream that we've had for a long time, which is how do we bring a lot of performant languages to the web? And those of you that have been around for a while may think about Silverlight or Flash or other proprietary technologies that we would use to bring advanced code. Well, WebAssembly is special because it's owned by the community, just like the CNCF. It's built in the W3C, the same place where we build HTML. It's co-chaired by my co-founder, Bailey Hayes. And there's a whole ecosystem of free MIT permissively licensed technologies that let you adopt WebAssembly in the browser, in your server-side infrastructure, or even on the edge of places like Cloudflare or smaller places like microcontrollers. wasmCloud is in the CNCF, so it is naturally designed to help people that are running Kubernetes on any cloud or edge, including their own.
Now, I was talking earlier that we actually met, I think, in Amsterdam.
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah,
That's right. So how do people, or developers in particular, adopt wasm if they're not used to, like, there's a lot of friction in the developer world.
There has been a lot of friction. When we think about what is wasm, it's a byte target. It's a byte code. So wasm or WebAssembly is a way to compile software, much like you might take Go and say compile this binary for ARM or a Mac OS X on ARM or x86. It's just an output target. And what that means is that in making wasm real, we've had to coordinate with the whole ecosystem of compiler developers and tooling. The good news is that we're gearing up towards wasm 1.0 next year, and the latest release includes support for things like threads, bidirectional asynchronous code. So from a WebAssembly and language point of view, more and more of your code just lifts and shifts right into wasm. One of the biggest things we've seen, though, this year, Cosmonic has had phenomenal growth in the first quarter, but we've started to have people realize that they don't really care about the how an LLM might write their code.
Right.
And our biggest growing source of adoption is in sandboxing agentic code. And you're just asking the LLM, maybe it's using Rust, which has incredible support for WebAssembly, or another language that compiles more easily than some of the languages like Java that still are lagging in support for WebAssembly.
And one of the advantages is the developer only has to focus on that 10% of the business, the code, right? They don't have to focus on the 90% of repeatable pieces.
That's right. When we think about the big epics of tech that we've been organized around for the last 30 years, we would start with a full PC, and you would start and say, well, virtualization at the CPU lets me at least share the hardware. And containerization at the OS lets me share the base OS and just stack layers on from here. And WebAssembly is just the natural next progression in that stack. It's an abstraction at the library layer, which means as a developer, not only do you just bring your business logic, but when we build WebAssembly, it's secure by default. It starts with no ambient authority. The problem with containers is that we ship them half full. You put a small binary into a container, and maybe it only needs to speak HTTP and standard in and write to the file system. Well, there's hundreds of other system calls that are still here. And provisioning that environment as a separate process takes over a second. So it's called the cold start problem. WebAssembly addresses these things at the root and gives you fast start time, the ability to scale to zero. And because you're shipping less code, not only can you operate your infrastructure more densely, but there's so much less to maintain. You're not patching utilities that you're not even using in the first place.
Yeah, super cool. And I think developers should check it out. If you're not already playing with it, you should definitely check it out. So, all right, Liam, you're here at KubeCon, lots of stuff happening. What are the things that you're seeing at the show?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the epic theme that sucked all the air out of the room for everybody is the rise of agentic and LLM.
Yeah.
And I think it's the biggest opportunity for organizations to take a step back and to really think about what it is they're trying to achieve with technology, which is, ship some business logic. And a lot of people, I've been honestly shocked by some of the, Fortune 10 size orgs that have come to us. One actually said, well, we've decided that Java's not a requirement anymore. That when we're developing code, we're spending more time in the planning stage and less time in the implementation phase. So we're going to see a lot of organizations take a step back and have the opportunity and the privilege to rethink their entire infrastructure from the ground up. And I think WebAssembly is maybe the right technology for the time, because while we are excited by LLMs, not many of us are entirely comfortable with running that code in untrusted environments like containers. Even a lockdown container still is a very permissive environment compared to WebAssembly.
Sounds like it has a lot of potential, a lot of growth.
So, absolutely.
Sorry, Liam. Top 3 things you want the audience to take away from.
Top 3 things are the best way to sandbox your code is with WebAssembly. WebAssembly is easier to use than ever, whether it's in the open source with CNCF wasmCloud or through Cosmonic. It's just Helm deploy. And that WebAssembly now supports all of your existing utilities, so you can build better together with WebAssembly containers side by side.
Very cool. Well, Liam, thank you for your time today, and thank you for watching. My name is Paul Nashawati, coming to you live from the show floor at KubeCon 2026 EU.